Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to a very small channel. It's a commentary channel. At night, I do upload paranormal videos. There's a paranormal activity going on in my home, but most of my videos are commentary, and the content can vary. I do all types of subject matter. It depends on my audience. It depends on what's being watched. It also depends on, truthfully, what I'm interested in at the time. And at the moment, and for a little while, I have been totally consumed by David Paulides, the Missing 411. Now, David Paulides, the Canam Project, can be found on YouTube. And his documentaries, The Missing 411, the UFO connection, and The Missing 411, The Hunted, can be found on Tubi. Tubi is free, especially in Australia. I live in Australia, so I don't know about anywhere else. But according to David, you can also find them on Amazon. Now, before I get into the topic properly, I want to tell you of something that was really distressing to me. In 2012, my husband, who is now deceased, and I went round Australia. We were actually homeless, but we decided to turn being homelessness into an adventure. You know, we've got nowhere to live. Why not go around Australia, use our car to go around Australia and camp out? Anyway, in Australia, you have rest areas, and sometimes in the rest areas, they have different types of toilets. Sometimes you get lucky and you have a sewage toilet. Sometimes you don't. You have what's called a drop toilet, and they're horrible. And I'm not really going to get into toilets here. Toilets are toilets are for bodily wastes. Anyway, near Mount Isa, we stopped at a little rest area, and it was a septic toilets. And as I went to the toilet, I heard, give me a moment. It still scars me to this day because I'm especially a dog lover and animal lover. I heard a puppy howling. I told my husband, and we were with a friend, we went all around that building because we were going to rescue the dog. You couldn't rescue it. Someone had pushed this puppy down the toilet. The thought, it's a horrible thought to me that this dog, maybe it did survive and is eating feces, which is horrible. But to do that is evil. It's evil. Now we're going to get to the topic of this video. David Paulides has found lots of connections in Missing 411. And one of the connections is, and I've done a video on this, I'll try and find the link and later come back and I'll put a link to it. And it's about water, bodies being found in water. Now, Just recently, David did one about Caleb Harris. And just sidetracking again, I tend to do this a lot. My sons are called David and Caleb, so that's really, it hits home for me. Anyway, Caleb was typical missing 411, and he was found in for want of a better word, septic tank sewage, and there was no way, there's no logical way that he got there. No, nothing. And David Paulides spoke about a man who was also found in, for want of a better word, a toilet, a missing 411. And David Paulides brings up how young, healthy, intelligent males are often found, like typical missing 411 cases, but they're often found in bodies of water. But there are some cases where they're found in sewage tanks, or like the Japanese, or septic tanks. And I find that very violating. I find that very degrading because of what we use toilets for. I don't have to state why we go to the toilet. When I get drunk, I use the toilet for that too. So I jokingly used to call the toilet god, because I say the toilet god would accept any offerings, whether it came from top or bottom. It happily accepted all offerings. I'm trying to be a little bit humorous here, because if you have a loved one that's missing to be found in septic or sewage, it's like, to me, it's like we're nothing but, whatever's doing this to us, we're nothing but pieces of SHIT. Anyway, I went, and I'm going to share with you what I said to Chat GPT, because I had tried to get my head around this. And I said, my question to Chat GPT was this: how can someone be found in a locked up septic tank dead when police have already searched creeks and manholes? This person is young, male, intelligent, healthy, with no issues, and it's not the first case. Let's take into account UFO abduction. It seems to be like humans are being flushed down the toilet, degrading. This is Chat's answer. The idea of someone being found dead in a locked septic tank, especially after a thorough searches of other areas like creeks and manholes, is certainly perplexing and could raise several unsettling questions. If we were to entertain the possibility of UFO abduction and a theory of flushing humans down, as you mentioned, it would suggest an extraordinary level of manipulation or deception. Here are a few speculative thoughts. Number one, unexplained disappearances and reappearances. If we consider the UFO abduction theory, it could be postulated that these individuals are taken, subjected to unknown procedures or experiences, and then returned in an unusual or degrading manner, such as being placed in a septic tank. The location of the body might be deliberately chosen to add confusion or to remove traces of whatever happened to the individual. Number 2, manipulation of space and time. The notion that these people could be moved to such an odd location without being noticed suggests advanced technology capable of manipulating space and time. This might explain how someone could end up in a locked or sealed environment without any signs of disturbances. Number 3, symbolic acts. If these incidents are not random but intentional acts by an unknown intelligence, the choice of a septic tank might symbolize degradation or disposal. It could be a message or a form of psychological manipulation intended to dehumanize the victim or to confuse those who find them. Number 4, patterns in abductions. If this is not the first case, it would be important to look at any patterns between the victims. Are they all young, healthy, intelligent males? Are there other similarities in their backgrounds or locations? This could help in understanding whether these incidents are connected and what the motive might be. Number 5, investigation of unexplained phenomena. Given the unusual nature of such cases, it might be necessary to involve experts in unexplained phenomena, including those who study UFOs, to explore possibilities that traditional investigations might overlook. This is a deeply unsettling scenario that blends the eerie and the unexplainable. The combination of advanced, possibly extraterrestrial technology with the grotesque nature of the disposal adds layers of mystery and fear to these cases. Now, my heart goes out to those who've lost a loved one in any way, whether it be a missing 411 case or however. And as a parent, you don't want your child to die before you. And it is an awful way to die or to be found, flushed down the toilet. Like, it is vile, it is disgusting, it is evil, it is malicious, it is shocking, it is sickening. And I brought up the story of that dog being flushed down the toilet because it seems there's an intelligence doing this. And just like this evil act of this person flushing the dog down the toilet, young, beautiful men are also being disposed of. Now, I also, before I end this story, want to tell you that in 2012, I lived with my husband in a caravan park at Fane, which is just outside Warwick. Warwick is a country town, south Queensland. It's quite south. It's just before you get into New South Wales. Well, not just before, but it's closer to New South Wales than, say, Townsville is to the border. What I'm saying is it's right down the bottom of Queensland. Queensland is quite a large state, going from, I'll name some cities so if you don't live in Australia, you'll understand. We have Brisbane, so it's south of Brisbane, it's south of Toowoomba, and north of Brisbane, where I live, we have the Sunshine Coast. We then have Gympie. Following Gympie is Maryborough, Bundaberg, Rockhampton, Mackay, Townsville, Cairns, Port Douglas, and Mossman, and then you go up to the Cape Tribulation. So, anyway, back to my story. When we were living in this caravan, the owners at the time said to us, "Oh, if you clean the toilets for us, you won't have to pay us rent for your caravan." So every day we had to clean the toilets. And the things I saw, I can't tell you here. Let's put it this way. I used to have, up until this time, regular dreams or nightmares that I needed to go to the toilet. But every toilet I went to was dirty and disgusting and revolting, and I couldn't go. Well, I've never had another dream since, because everything and anything that you can think of, I saw. Humans are vile creatures. When it comes to toilets, we're vile. And knowing that, and intelligence has worked us out really well. And to know that's how someone's ended up, that's an awful place to die. And I'm so sorry for that person, how they've ended up. And I'm so sorry for their loved ones. And again, hands off to David Paulides. He does a wonderful job. Please subscribe and watch his videos. He's a wonderful man. He's my hero, and I wouldn't even dare to compare myself with any of these marvelous people. Not just David, there's other channels that cover missing people really well. I, being a psychic medium, like to try to solve it, but also just like to try and solve it because we all like to solve mysteries and crimes. Every one of us likes a good mystery. We like to be able to say, he done it, she done it, this happened, that happened. And this is why I do these videos, because I look at the points that David Paulides brings up and my mind starts going, why? But obviously, to whatever intelligence is doing this, we're just pieces of, as I said the word before. And not only that, knowing how we feel about toilets, and by the way, the toilet was developed by Thomas Crapper, knowing that's the place we crap, we've got a psychological connection to that. You know, this is a toilet, you know, it's not, you know, and we've got like a psychological connection to dirty toilets, and it's just icky. It's just, the thought is icky about toilets and body waste and all that. And this intelligence, as God has worked out really well. God has worked out psychologically, and God has worked out that disposing of a body will affect us psychologically. This species that's doing this is nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. And as I said in a video that's just being uploaded now, just because a species has advanced technology does not mean they are advanced spiritually or good. And why I mean good, I mean are nice, are loving. They may have absolutely no emotions at all. It's us as humans that try to put emotions on things. You know, oh, my dog feels sad. How do we know my dog feels sad? We do recognize signs that the dog's sad. You know, it's moping, it's whining. But we don't know anything about aliens. And I am absolutely repulsed. And I think this is very cruel. And I really would appreciate a comment. And I would ask you, go and watch the video that David Paulides did about Caleb Harris, and you would understand my revulsion and repulsion. And leave a comment what you think happened, or what you think happens to people being found in sewage, septic tanks. Because let me put it this way, it's easy to put animals down toilets, but in the case of the Japanese, it's quite, David Paulides covers that too. He explained how difficult it was for that Japanese man to actually get into the toilet. And also, one last thing, Caleb Harris had no trauma. So to think that he slipped in a manhole and fell, he would have had a broken or something, and he didn't, because David Paulides explained it was 15-foot drop. So there would have been a fracture of something, and there was no trauma found. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it because that's a copyright edition of David Paulides. Please watch. I'm only, because he gets me thinking. He gets me thinking, you know, why water? Why GHB? Why men? Why Germans? What's going on? And that's why I do these videos, to explore the reasons. He comes up with the connections, and I'm coming up with possible reasons. Now, there's going to come a time, I think, if this species, this intelligence is so vile, that they're going to get bolder and bolder. And one day, face it or not, we are going to be attacked, and we have to stand united. And to be united, we have to care for one another. So let's start now. Let's start being kind to each other. And I treat people how I want to be treated. And you know how I want to be treated? Lovingly. kindly, non-judgmental, tolerated. I want to be forgiven because I make mistakes. Oh, do I make mistakes? We're flawed human beings. We make mistakes. But let's not hold on to grudges because life is so short. Thank you for watching. I didn't mean to lecture. It's just, usually I say cherish every moment and every life matters, but I just wanted to say that there's going to come a time that maybe we might have to fight. And if we're not united, we're going to lose. We are going to lose, and humans will be no more. And humans we're our own worst enemy. Right now, there are so many wars going on. I binged on the Olympic Games, so happy to see that the world could come together. But that's a symbol of peace, and it doesn't solve what's going on in the world. We need peace, people. Love, light, and blessings. Sorry for the long video. Gems done. Bye.